Hey guys, welcome back. Today I got a little surprise. It's me, 3D printed version of me. Almost naked, not quite. And I just wanted to show this because I put the files online. So if you want a 3D printed me, you can have them. Yay! I actually did this print to check the scale to make sure everything was appropriate. I planned on printing a full-size me and molding it so that I could make fiberglass copies of myself for the sake of ease, faster than printing it and so forth. So I needed to print one for a test to make sure that all the dimensions lined up, that the waist was correct and everything was right. For a couple reasons. Two, when you get a scan done, you never know if it's quite accurate until you print it and check. And two, I did a mod to the file to make it a little bit easier to work on digitally and practically, I guess. So this scan was done at Thingergy. The scan of me was done at Thingergy a few years ago. And I actually had two scans done that day. I had one where I was just in underwear. That was it. Scan. Great. And I had another one done earlier in the day. They did some test makeup on me. So they'd done some different skin textures on my body. And they scanned me then as well. And in that scan, I had shorts on and shoes. And when they gave me the file, they processed the wrong one for me. So they didn't pay for it. It was free. So I'm not complaining at all. So it's basically, they gave me the one where I was wearing the shorts and it had these little skin textures. So I had to basically mod out the shorts. I could have probably got the other file, but by the time I got around to looking at it, it'd been a long time. I didn't want to burden them with like, hey, give me the other one. So I just sculpted the shorts off in ZBrush and removed the shoes kind of. And then I had a file. It was me, and I kind of went over and smoothed out some of the skin textures because the prosthetics that they put on were really like very, very thin. It was just like a little bit like scales and stuff. No big deal. So it was easy to smooth that out. And it was great. I had this file of myself. It was awesome. But then in 2019, when we did Jedi Temple Challenge, I used the file to model the 83 costume around me so that it would fit me properly. And in the process, I realized that the symmetry, if I put my arms out, if I'm just a little off in the shoulders or one arm's higher than the other or hand is turned different, it makes it difficult to model armor on one side, and then when you mirror it, it's all off kilter and you have to adjust it. So I decided to mirror my body in the center. I kept my head the same, so my head, my asymmetries, my little crooked nose and all this is correct. But I mirrored my body to make it even. And I did a lot of testing to make sure that this was accurate. So I had an unmirrored version of me, and then I would mirror it and check it, make sure that the proportions would all line up properly and there was nothing out of whack, and make sure that it wasn't going to affect the measurements. And it took me a while to get it right, and this was the result. And after printing it, I was able to take measurements everywhere, and everything lines up. And there's actually been costumes built on me off of these files now that all fit me correctly, so I know that they're accurate. But anyway, I wanted to show this. It's kind of cool. The print was done in maybe a week and a half, 10 days maybe, something like that. And it's totally hollow. There's no support material in any of these parts at all. It's printed hollow, lowest resolution setting on my Creality CR10S5. All the filament you see, these crazy colors, it's filament that my neighbor gave me. He had a printer. I may have mentioned this in a previous video. He gave me a Creality Ender 3 that he was basically working with, that he was just, I guess he just was sick of fitzing with this. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to give it to you. And he gave it to me, and he gave me a whole bunch of filament. So this is that filament. It was very, very handy. So this is essentially free minus the time and the power to run the printer. And the way I did this, when I cut this up, I'll take an arm off here so we can see. Stick that there. This one only has one peg, but I made it so it takes two little PVC pegs like this. They stick in here, and then you slide them together, and it all fits nicely. And I wanted to make sure that they were hollow, so that once everything was together, I could put expanding foam, and it would make it all the way through and basically bind everything. I will be doing some mods to this in the future. At the time I was working on this, I was working at a studio, and I wanted them to critique it to see if I was going to mold it and go through all the trouble, if there's anything I should change. And there's a couple minor changes, like this one, the arms are very straight, and I was told that if I bend the arms a little bit, it makes it easier for the costume department to, locate the elbows. and basically where I cut the hands is I should have done it slightly differently. So I'm probably going to reprint the arms and reprint the lower legs and maybe make a mod to the head. And now that I have that 3D scanner, I think I'm going to rescan my feet, because this one, I was wearing tennis shoes, so I kind of like sculpted them off real quick and just chopped them. So that was, you know, not optimal. So if I rescan my feet, I'll have a proper foot on there as well. But anyway, I wanted to show these because I put the files online on Thingiverse, which I'll show below in the description. I'll put a link to it. Another thing that I did in the process was make a sculpting armature, which is basically like a head cut off right here. So it looks like this. There's a little red guy that I just dropped under the table. Oh my gosh, embarrassing. It's right here. And basically you can sit flat on a table and you could sculpt masks on it and so forth. And then I did like a mini one, another small version, and sculpted, you know, so I can do like test sculpts on them real small, see if I like the shapes. And then if I like, I can go sculpt it big. But I'm making a fully printable big version like this, and it'll have keys in it. So if you wanted to sculpt a mask and mold it, it would already have keys, so you could use this as a core. So I haven't added this to Thingiverse yet, but I will put these up there as well soon. But yeah, just wanted to show 3D printed me, now with an amputated arm here. Will this go back on? I don't know. But yeah, fun times. Hopefully useful to some people. And then as I update the parts, I will post them to Thingiverse to replace the existing pieces. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I have some other stories that came with having printed this. It kind of actually opened some opportunities for me, which is really cool. But I can't talk about it yet. I'll get into it in a few months. Whenever it comes around, I'll reference this video. So remember this. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, get back to work. Just figured I'd share this. The link to the files will be below. If you want them, you can print any pieces of this or mix and match. I may actually put the entire model chopped up there as well, just so if you guys want to print a miniature or use it for something like this, like miniature armatures, very handy. Or do some goofy stuff like those other droid builder guys have been doing with parts of my body. That sounds kind of sick. Anyway, you get the point. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you soon. Later, bye!